Hello. Hari. Mama පටන් ගන්න. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Right, okay, we'll start today's lesson from now. Last week we discussed about what is about communication. Under that we learned what is the elements, basic elements we need to communication in normal communication. Source, then message, destination. In that way we identified the elements need to communication. Then after that we discussed about communication categories. Under communication categories we learned 4 types of communication categories, right? Then I can remind the 4 types, then verbal, non-verbal, written, and the last one is the visual. In that way we identified 4 types. That after that communication process, in the communication process, how the communication happen between sender and the receiver, right? By using a diagram I explained the needs, elements of this communication process. Especially very importantly we should know what is encoding, decoding, and the channel. Those types of things we discussed under communication process. Right, then we started the part computer communication. The data traveling happened between 2 computers known as computer communication. Right, then data communication, why we always send digital data from one end to the other end. Therefore it is called data communication. Then data travel in the form of signals, that we learn the 2 types of signals also, digital and analog. Then we discussed about the elements, the main elements we need to establish a computer or data communication system. Right, there we identified the elements such as sender, then channel, receiver, then modem, protocol. Right, those are the elements, main elements we need to establish a computer or data communication system. Right, then from that point we can start today. Before starting that, one thing I want to discuss with you, your Edmodo accounts, only 57 of you still created the Edmodo account. Please make the others also as soon as possible. Then otherwise you will not be able to download the presentation, your lesson video, recorded video, and the other related things. Therefore it must, you want to establish, or you want to create your Edmodo account. That later your assignments also will deliver through the Edmodo accounts. Therefore it must need to create that one. Please pass this message to your friends also. Those who are not enrolled in the lessons, please join with this Edmodo account. Right, once you join the Edmodo account, actually they will get all the recorded version of this lesson, then all the presentations and other types of lesson materials, web references related with the lesson. All of this lesson you will find through the Edmodo, this learning management system. Therefore please create this account as soon as possible. The way of creating the account that I already published through a video. Please visit the video and create the account. Right, okay. Then now we can start the today's lesson. Today's lesson is actually transmission media. That last time we learn data communication system, we learn what is sender, what is receiver, those types of things. Then there should be a way to link or send in data from sender to receiver. What's that we are using to send in this data, right? That I start from a presentation for today's part also. Therefore, I'm going to share the presentation. Right. Can you see, all of you? Can you see the presentation here?
Yes, sir, can see.
Okay, right. Transmission media, right? Actually, this is a somewhat large area. Therefore, I am organized this part in 2 sessions. Once the first session is the today's one, then next time also we are going to continue the transmission media. Right. The first, what is transmission media? Right. What is transmission medium? That we should understand these things about what is transmission media. Actually, when we consider about the real life example, right? For suppose you want to travel from one location to another location, then what's the medium you are using? Can someone tell me? If you want to travel from suppose you want to travel from your city Kurunagala to Colombo, then what's the medium you are using today? Medium?
By bus?
Bus is not the medium, right? Bus is the device or equipment you are using, you are getting support to travel, right? The medium is road, right? Road is the medium. That's the one solution, road. Or if you want to travel from one location to another, right? That look at the picture here, then you can use road as the medium, right? The car or bus is the device, right? The passengers mean who are inside the device, bus or car, right? The passengers may be the data, right? That later you can compare this data communication system and the normal communication or traveling system, right? Then road is one medium, and using road you can travel from one location to another location, right? That road is not the only way, only path to travel from one location to another location, right? Then sometimes you can use water traveling, right? Water is the medium, right? In that case the device is any device travel through the water. It may be a boat or ship, right? Right, that passengers are who are the inside this device, right? They are the data, right? Or some cases you can use plane, right? In this case medium is air is the medium. In that way we can identify transmission medium for the real life. When consider the data traveling from one computer to another, in that case what the medium? These are the things we are going to learn. What are the medium you are using to send data from one location to another location? This data is similar to passengers, right? Data is similar to passengers, right? Then we should want to know about the medium, right? Then again, look at the picture here. Here representing the sender is the one location, receiver is another location, sender and receiver. In between, transmission media, this transmission media exists, right? By look at the arrow in left side, this arrow point to the transmission media, then data travels through this transmission media, then finally it received to the receiver, right? Then this transmission media may be cable or air. It may be a transmission media, may be a cable, right? That later we'll discuss in detail. No need to draw this diagram also now. Only understand what is transmission medium. This transmission medium is the medium we are using to sending data from one location to another location. This transmission media can be cable or air. Right? The cable, it has a physical existence. You can touch it. But air means environment, right? Through air. That in the real life, this plane travel through air. In that way, data also, there should be a way to travel through air. Right. That later we'll learn these things with the technical terms also. Until that, understand this diagram here. Right. The first things here we want to discuss the features of this transmission media. Then after that, you will learn the types of medium. Also, before that, again, I want to teach one thing you about signals. That last time we identified mainly two types of signals there, analog and digital signals. Right? That both together we call signals. We want to identify some features of these signals. It is very important, but it is will not important for your examination purpose. They are not asking these features, but these are somewhat technical, but not difficult or not advanced things, only a simple things. Right? When we are in general life, in real life, every day we should use these words with these terms. Therefore, you want to do somewhat form way to learn these words, right? Therefore, from this point, you can write down properties of signals. Write down the topic, properties of signals. When consider these properties, there are 4 properties. Right? Here you can see these properties: amplitude, frequency, phase, and wavelength. Amplitude, frequency, phase, and wavelength. Right. Write down these 4 properties here. Right. Okay. From these properties, only we are going to learn the first 2. The first one is amplitude, and the second one is frequency. These are the 2 common terms. Normally in everyday life we are using these terms, but 3 and 4 we are not using too much in everyday life. That's somewhat technical, more technical, 3 and 4. But first and 2, these 2 terms you can understand. Therefore, I'm going to teach you what is amplitude and the frequency in this under properties of signal. Right. The first one, amplitude. Take idea about amplitude. Amplitude mean actually amplitude measure the strength of the signal, power or strength. More power mean strength is very high. The amplitude is low mean the strength is very low. Right. Look at the example here. I'll first look at the diagram. This is a normal signal. Amplitude. Look at the term here, amplitude. Height of the signal, the height you can measure from this horizontal axis, to the maximum point of the signal. Right? Normally, you know the coordinate system. In other words, we can see we can show this horizontal axis as x-axis. X-axis, y-axis. Normally, you know, right? X-axis and y-axis. This amplitude you can measure from x-axis to maximum point of the signal. That's called amplitude. Right? Here it's also mentioned the height of signal is known as amplitude. Right? Here they are saying, look at the word this underline, perpendicular height. Right? Perpendicular height from vertical axis to the point in the signal, not horizontal axis. Actually, this one is the vertical part. X-axis is vertical. From vertical axis to the maximum point of the signal. Right. Then here again, see here this words also strong of signal. Right? Signal strong. That strength, more strength. Strong mean that particular height is very long, mean the particular signal is very high, strong signals. That height is low mean the signal is low. The strength of signal is low. Right? That short amplitude. Short amplitude mean the strength of signal is low. Right? Height and amplitude mean the strength of signal is very high. Right? That for example, suppose your voice, right? Voice signals, right? Your sound is travel through the voice signals. Right? Whatever the sound you produce through your body, your mouth, right? That particular sound travels through air in the form of voice signals. Right? Then you are produce a sound very loudly. Louder sounds. Look at the picture below. This louder sound means this amplitude is high amplitude. Right? Then low sounds mean your sounds maybe your voice is quarter. Right? Quarter your voice. That means low voice. Right? In that way, you can identify this amplitude. Right? These features are very important to learn the medium, transmission medium. That's why these properties I introduced to you. Right now, you can write down these things in the screen. Right? First, write down amplitude. Under amplitude is the subtopic here. Amplitude. Under amplitude, write down this word. The height of signal is known as amplitude. These two lines. Then draw the diagram, this one. Right, I think now it is okay. Right. Right. Can you hear me? All of you, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes,
right.
sir.
Did you complete write down the things in its screen?
Not yet.
Finish, all of you finish writing? Right, I will give 1 minute to complete that. Right, okay. This is about amplitude. Then we'll move to the second property. Second property is right. Before that, another statement here. The meter is used to measure the amplitude. Right? Measuring amplitude. The suitable measurement is meter. That's also point out. The meter is used to measure the amplitude. Right. Then we'll move to the second property, frequency. Right. Frequency. Look at the diagram here. In this diagram, they are saying some properties. Amplitude also, the earlier we learned amplitude. Then look at the property cycle, property called cycle. Right? The cycle you can identify from the starting point to and complete one cycle. Right? One cycle. Right? Look at the signal path. Here I am moving my mouse here, this around the signal path. Right? Still in the signal, continuing the signal, still in the signal, then again come to this vertical axis. Right? From starting point to again come to the vertical axis, this point, these 2 points, between this point, 2 points called cycle. This type of cycle can happen many in this throughout this vertical line. Right? It depends on the strength of the signal. Right? Suppose in a second, this type of cycle, 2 cycles there. That means frequency. Frequency is, we can identify frequency as the number of cycles happen per time period. Right? Number of cycles happen per time period. In this case, we can see directly, there are 2 cycles. Therefore, we can say for this signal, we can see the frequency is the 2. Frequency is normally measured using the measurement called hertz. Hertz indicating HZ. These are the normal terms. Normally, you know these terms. Hertz means frequency, measurement of frequency. Frequency are number of cycles per time period. Normally, this time period we calculate as seconds. Right? In this signal, the frequency is 2 hertz. Right? Then write down the topic frequency. Under that, draw the diagram and draw these statements also. Right. Someone asked to move the previous slides. If you missing something, stop little bit here. I move to the previous slide. Right. This is the previous slide there. Someone asking to move that. That's why I show again this one. Right. I think it is okay. Now, under frequency, first draw the diagram and then write down the statement here. And if you are missing something to write down, then later you can follow the presentation and the recorded video recording of this lesson. Then you can complete it, right? Right. Finish writing. I think you finish writing this one. In this slide, explain about what is frequency. Right. In frequency mean number of cycles per given time period. Number of cycles. Right. Here that represent in this signal there are 2 cycles. There are 2 cycles. Therefore, in this case, frequency is 2. This frequency you can measure by using the measurement called hertz. This hertz may be later it will become kilohertz, megahertz, like that. Right. Then another term you can see in this diagram called wavelength. Actually, no need to go in detail what is about wavelength. Only get an idea the distance between maximum points. Distance between maximum points of the signal. That is called wavelength. Right. That's about the frequency. Now we'll move to the next paragraph, next screen. Right. Write down the topic feature of transmission media. Features that earlier we learned properties of signal. Actually, there are 4 properties, but we learned only two properties there. Right. Because these 2 properties are generally in real life we can see these 2 terms using very frequently in the general real life also. That's why we learn those 2 properties. Right. Then after that, features of transmission media. Write down the statement here. There are 4 properties we should want to consider. These 4 properties you can see: latency, bandwidth, noise, attenuation. Attenuation are the 4 properties we can find in any transmission media. These 4 properties we learned because these 4 properties are depend the quality of the transmission media. Right. Therefore, it is important to learn these 4 properties. Right. Write down this one. The following factors are very important when decide a transmission medium in a communication system. Right. If you are supposed to establish a communication system, right, then you want to decide what's the medium you are going to use. Right. When deciding the medium, you want to consider these factors. Right. It has very good latency, very good bandwidth, then low noise, then good attenuation. Then you can select the particular medium for your communication system. Right. Now we'll move to one by one. First one, latency. Latency. Write down the topic, latency. Right. Latency mean actually the round trip time. Round trip time. That means the time taken to travel from one end to the other and the vice versa. Right. For example, suppose in this diagram, your data traveling start from the this left end, that in the computer. Right. Then start from this end, it's going to finish their travel in the other end. The device you can find in the right end. They are taking 800 milliseconds. 800 milliseconds. Then that right end giving the feedback response. To finish the response to get in the computer, they are taking 900 milliseconds. 900 milliseconds. Therefore, latency means total of these two time period, 800 plus 900. That means 1.7 second. The latency is 1.7. Right. The latency means the time taken to travel data from one end to the other end and the vice versa. And total time, in other words, we can say total time taken to travel from one end to other end. That's called latency. Right. Then what about when we select a transmission media? This latency time should high or low? That according to your point of view. Now, I think you can understand what is latency. Then tell me, when you are selecting a particular medium, what should be the latency time? It should be low or high? Straightly we can say it is low, right? It is low. In minimum period, it should take the minimum period to travel from one end to other end. Right? The latency high mean it take more time to travel. It take more time to travel from one end to the other end. Right now, write down the paragraph here and draw the diagram also. Right, okay, finish writing. Right, is that clear up to now? Any problem? Please tell me the feedback. Right, once I ask in the question, please respond. The otherwise I will not concern you. I will not about what you are doing there. Is it clear up to now?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay, in that way at least tell me yes or no, then I know you are concerned about the lesson. Right, then after that let us see, then second property, bandwidth of the medium. That's the again normal term. I think most of you are familiar with this term. Normally you are using your internet, you are using your mobile phone with the internet, right? In all of these cases, this term is not new term, bandwidth. The bandwidth refers to the volume of the data you can travel at once through a particular medium, right? There are some channels, some mediums, the bandwidth exists in parallelly, right? There are some channels only one bandwidth there, That means their volume is shorter than the previous one. The medium having only one channel called baseband. Baseband. That's a somewhat older technology. Baseband. Right? The newer technology is bandwidth. That means that particular medium having more channels. That you will understand that what this channel about channel, these things. Look at the picture here. That's giving the idea about what is bandwidth. That the picture above saying low bandwidth one, low bandwidth, right? Their volume is low. In the second, the picture below there representing high bandwidth. High bandwidth. They release more data. They release more data. That's like to water tap. Right? You know this. There are water tap available in different sizes. Right? Then 1 inch, half inch, like that. If you compare with the 1 inch and the half inch, if you use a 1 inch water tap, that means more water going at a time than the half inch one. And then similar concept you can apply to the transmission medium also. That's called bandwidth. The low bandwidth, the ones having the low bandwidth mean the number of data travel at once is low. But if you have high bandwidth mean the number of data travel at once is many or high. That's the difference between low bandwidth and the high bandwidth. Right? The most of the communication method today we are using having high bandwidth. Right? They are at a time, at in the 1 second, they are traveling gigabytes of data. Right? Okay, in that way, try to understand the bandwidth. Now write down the statement there. No need to, yeah, you can draw the diagrams also. Okay, is that okay? Did you finish writing this one? Can you hear me?
Sir, give me 1 second.
Sorry. At complete it, I will give 1 minute to you. Here saying bandwidth is measured as the amount of data that can be transferred from one point to another. Amount of data. The amount of data can travel from one end to another end in a specific amount of time. Right? Underline these words. These are important terms. Right? Specific amount of time. Right? Then normally this bandwidth is measures in bits per second. Bits per second. That's this is the standard measurement BPS. The bits per seconds now, but now they are using different measurements by expanding this bits per seconds. Now they are saying kilo bits per seconds, gigabytes per seconds. In that way, there are different measurement, but the base is bits per second. Therefore, that is called standard. Standard measurement is measured in bits per second. Right. Then I think you finish writing this one. Then we'll move to the next feature called noise. Noise. Right. The noise means there are some situations the signals interrupt with other signals. Right. It also depends on the medium you are using, the type of medium you are using. Right. There are some medium the signals travels from through this medium interrupted from other signals. That is called noise. Right? Noise. This interruption is high, we'll call it high noise. Then interruption is low, called low noise. Right? When we are selecting the transmission medium, we should want to identify the amount of noise happening this medium, the amount of noise effect with this medium. If it is low, that's good medium. If it is high, mean we can reject that particular medium. That's called noise. Normally in real life also you will experience these interruptions of these signals. Here we'll give some examples. Normally you are here that when you are working or when you are here the radio receivers, right? Sometimes you may experience about hiss sounds, hiss like that, right? That's interruptions the signals, radio signals. Then buzz sound, especially when you are talk about another person through the telephone, right? Telephone receivers, especially land phones, right? When you are while you are talking with another person, in between, and there is a small sound, buzz like that. Right? Then also that's the interruption of signals. Then flickering. Normally you experience with the television, right? Not now actually, that earlier cases. Normally there are situation you are using the normal antenna. Right? In the signals fail, there are many signals failures there, not clear signals. In that case, your television pictures are not clear. That means disturbance from other signals. Right? In the result, what the result is, they are showing the signals is flicker in television receivers. That's some examples for noises. Here I am giving some his sound here. Then later, once you get in this slide presentation, go to this slides and click here. Then you will hear his sound. That's one video I attached here. I'm not going to run in this time now here. You can click here and get the sound. Then buzz sounds also. Buzz and flickering, how the television is in, screen is flicker. You can also get some experience by clicking this picture here also. You will hear the sounds. Right. In that way, you can identify the noise. Now you can write down these statements, this paragraph here with the examples. No need to draw these ones, right? It's no way to draw. Once you get the presentation, go to these slides and click these sounds and get the experience. Right. Right. Okay. Finish right in here.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Then here I have a problem here in this area. Power failure, power cut. In 1 or 2 minutes, it will automatically stop the lesson. Right. My battery level is very low. In 2 or 3 minutes, it will disconnect. Right. And therefore, unfortunately, I have to stop the lesson here. Once the power problem is okay, then I will give a message to you through your head of the department, and then connect again, right? Join again with the lesson. That's actually, unfortunately, Okay, is it clear? The point you get the point?
Okay, sir.
Right. Therefore, I am stop the lesson now. We'll meet, I think, so as soon as possible. It will okay. After getting the power okay, then I will join with you again. Right. You have to use the same link for this lesson, right? Not only today, for every week, you have to use the same link to join the lesson. Then once the power problem is okay, I will send that message in your Edmodo account, right? I will give you an Edmodo account. I will also inform your HOD also. It may be receive a message from the HOD also, but it's not sure. That definitely you will get a message through your Edmodo account. Therefore, touch with your Edmodo account. I think in your area will not have this problem. Therefore, try to complete your Edmodo account now. Right? Get this time to complete your Edmodo account, and also once you completed, that particular presentation will be there. Get the presentation and follow it until start the lesson in next time in the few minutes. So I don't know, few minutes or few hours, right? Until start the next session, please follow the presentation. And those who are not complete the Edmodo account, creating Edmodo account, please complete it now. All the links you can find in the Edmodo account, or please share with your friend. Please ask your friends also get the links, right? No other way to give in these links to you now, right? Okay, still not getting the light power here, right? Therefore, I am stopped here now. Temporarily stop the lesson now, right? Okay, thank you very much. We'll hop from few minutes or from few minutes to start the lesson.